Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bucs Live right here on 102.9 FM Broad Street South Radio and Bucs Report and Sports Talk Florida. We're here for a great night. It's time to put the Falcons behind us. The Bills are due. We got a game coming up on Thursday. It's time for that. Let's have a great night. All the usual shenanigans with me, Rick Hughes, and my friend David Whitescarver. We are right here on Bucs Live.
Are you ready?
Get ready. It's time for Bucs Live.
Bucs Live.
Bucs Live.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers talk with Rick Hughes and David Whitescarver.
This is
Bucs Live.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's have a good night. Let's talk about some Buccaneer football. I am ready. Are you? My name is Rick Hughes. This is Dazzling David Whitescarver with me over here in that dazzling red shirt. You're looking beautiful tonight, Dave.
Thank you. Feeling it.
All right. It's time to put that last game behind. What you got to say?
You've got to run the football some in the NFL. You have to. If you want to be successful in the National Football League, if you want to kill off time in the fourth quarter, you're going to have to do better than dead last.
Well, that's an interesting time to freeze. I hope that that I want to save this moment. Wow, you froze up for a moment there, Dave. Yeah, anyway, okay. So I'm not sure what's happening with Dave at the moment with Dave's internet connection. So guys, now that I think Dave's back, Dave brought up you've got to run the football, and I agree. The thing I find, I want to talk about the press conferences today because there was some news today coming out of the Advent Health Facility, $1, whatever you want to call it. There was some news, and it's something I want to talk about, and I find interesting because there's mixed messages coming out of the press conferences, and I find it's fascinating. Now, I'm not sure if this is just Baker telling it like it is, Dave Canales being a coach and not wanting to divulge what plans are. I don't know, but there are two definitely different messages. You have Baker Mayfield who says
we're kind of learning that we're not going to be a run-first team.
We're kind of learning that we're not going to be a run-first team. Thank you. A year and a half later, well, for him, only a half year. But the thing that I think threw me the most was Dave Canales saying...
but again, still would love to just be able to run the ball with consistency and do that. And maybe that's me just being able to call more of those runs in different situations.
You can't, and they don't work.
Call more runs? The solution is we can't run, so let's run more?
Somehow we'll get consistent if we do it more.
All I could say is I hope that's just coach speak trying to get Buffalo to focus more on the run, and then they're going to pass more, I hope. But
no quick fixes for where we're headed. Just a lot of the same.
That is terrifying. That's a quote also from today's press conference. Just let that sink in.
No quick fixes for where we're headed. Just a lot of the same.
So if I'm understanding correctly, what he's saying is we're lousy at running the football, but to throw them off, we're going to do it all the more.
I think we're not very good at running, so I think it might be because I'm not calling enough runs.
We're gonna do it more. We're really bad at it, but they're gonna not expect us to run because we're bad. So we're gonna run more.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not happy with this, guys. It is absolutely time to press the panic button. It is. It's.
Please, Pittsburgh. Nothing to see here, please.
That's a typical press conference that one Buck plays. Everything's going bad. Things are falling apart. Things look terrible. We look terrible. We should have gotten our butt absolutely destroyed by the Falcons. But thankfully, Antoine Winfield was Antoine Winfield. And Desmond Ritter was Desmond Ritter. And that kept the game appearing to be close. But the truth is, it was a complete disaster, and they're trying to tell us it's no problem at all. Nothing to see.
Please, Pittsburgh. Nothing to see here, please.
I'm mortified. I'm terrified. I'm disappointed in the response that we're getting. Now, hopefully it's just coach speak. I know that's quite possible that it is just coaches being coaches. I understand that happens. Dave, I don't know if you had heard those comments or not, if you'd heard any of that, but
No, I had not. It was probably a good thing I did because I'd have to take another blood pressure medicine if I'd have heard it.
yeah. it's a little bit frustrating, a little bit maddening, but I don't expect, if we're going to open up the offense and do some different things, I don't expect Dave Canales to come out and say, hey, guys, we're going to do some different things this week. We're going to try to throw to the running backs in the flat more. You can't expect them to do that. Look, I will say this. Do not expect any changes this week. All right. We do have Chase Edmonds back. That might be, that might help some.
There's there's another 3/4 of a yard per carry there.
Well,
We might get up to 3.
So, I mean, maybe Chase Edmonds will help a little bit. Look, you can't expect things to change on a short week like this. They're not going to reinvent the wheel on a short week. Now, maybe after this week they have time to implement some changes, but you're not going to sit certain players and bring other players in. You're not going to be able to make any major tweaks to the lineup on a short week like this. Now, I know they practiced more so than you normally do when you have a Thursday game. Todd Bowles got them out there on Monday, the day after the game, and got them out there doing walkthroughs and an actual practice on Tuesday, which is unusual. They are losing a practice, but only one because of the way they've approached this. And I want to also talk about Antoine Winfield. Antoine Winfield, to me, is the MVP of this team. Between him and Wirfs, these are the two guys that are just between. And I'll tell you, if Levante David wasn't his age, I would say him too. But these are the guys you just can't touch. These guys have to be signed next year. They have to be signed next year. It's not up for debate. There's no discussion. Antoine Winfield's contract is up. Tristan Wirf's contract is up, I believe. You also have Devin White, Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield. These are all guys that are, potentially free agents next year. So listen, Winfield and Wirfs it's just not negotiable. I mean, those are Hall of Famers on your team. I mean, they are. Antoine Winfield is the best safety in the league. Tristan Wirfs is probably the best tackle in the league. You just can't touch those two. Everybody else is negotiable. Everybody. So break the bank if you have to. I don't care. Do what you have to do. Those guys stay. And if you have to blow the whole thing up and rebuild starting with those two, then that's what you do. But let's worry about that in the offseason. I'm getting ahead. We have the Atlanta game and we have the Buffalo game. I don't know. I mean, like I said, guys, it is full on in my eyes, full on time to panic. Time to hit the button. Press it. Press it. Go ahead. Freak out. Whatever you need to do it. I mean, it's time. Everybody go ahead and panic. Listen, we are probably going to lose this game. Let's be realistic. I'll tell you now, we are probably going to lose this game. Weird things happen on Thursdays. Let me be clear. It's probably a blessing that we're playing them on a Thursday night. Because they haven't had time to practice like usual either. They haven't had. They're not playing great, and they haven't had time to fix anything either, make any big changes either. So there's a little bit of a blessing in that.
Well, now let me just throw some even more cold water on the proceedings. Now that November 5th game at Houston, are the Bucs even going to be favored for that one? We never would have even questioned that at the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I at Houston, I imagine they'll be favored by 1 or 2. I mean, yeah, probably 2. The Bucs will be favored, but I don't think that's for sure. And remember, my thing with and I say this all the time, my thing with what's the line going to be, it has nothing to do with who's the better team. It's set to get 50% betting on each side. So it's more a popularity contest than anything. It's not a shock that we're close now. Look, we're a middle echelon team at best. We are right in the middle, right along with the Falcons, right along with the Texans and Tennessee. This is the level we're at. So you figure if we lose to the really good teams and we lose to half of the middle echelon teams and we beat the bad teams, that's about what we can expect this year. That's about what you're looking at. And this makes games like the Falcons game huge. You lose a game like the Falcons game, it's a very big deal. The Buccaneers have to beat them in the next time they face each other. I mean, this is critical. This is absolutely it's critical. Dave, when you think of, let's move on to Thursday. When you think of going into a Thursday night game with Buffalo, let's hit it right off the top. What are your expectations?
Well, from Buffalo, they're pretty bent after losing to New England at New England. So they're going to be motivated. They want to get the bad taste of their mouth over that game. So they're going to be fired up to begin with. I don't see this turning out well for the Bucs. For it to happen, and it's possible because since 2018, Josh Allen has led the league in turnovers. If you can get some turnovers and you can keep the Bills under wraps for the most part, you got a shot. But it's going to be something like that where it's going to be a multi-turnover game where you're able to stay in it and win at the end.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. The Bucs played the Bills. I think it was 2 years ago. It was a very exciting game. Came down right to the end. The Bucs came back, and the thing is, I think our defense is better now than it was then. I think matchup wise, our defense matches up well against their offense. It's this whole season, every game is going to come down to the same statement: can we score? That's really what it's going to come down to, because I think our defense will keep us in the game. I don't think Buffalo is going to run roughshod over us, but I don't know what to expect. I mean,
I think the Bills will score in the mid-20s and the Bucs will be around 10, like they have been. I don't have a reason to think otherwise. I don't think extra practice on a short week is going to cut it.
Well, their defense is not good. Atlanta's got better defense than Buffalo does. So, I mean, do I think we'll score more? Well, we're 2-0 this season on the road. For some reason, we seem to play better on the road. But this is not new. This has been for the last several years. The Bucs seem to play better on the road. I don't know if it's that they focus more. I I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I really don't have an
It's
answer for that.
counterintuitive to the way the league works, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure what to say. It's there's look, guys. Sometimes there's some years that are great years. There's some years that are not so great years, and I get very frustrated with people when they call me up and they're freaking out trying to come up with what's the solution, and they're mad that Dave Canales is not doing an amazing job. And they're, you're in a rebuilding year, first of all. You're not going to, um, you're not going to light the world on fire this year. You've got a rookie offensive coordinator. We knew that was coming. Um, I don't want to change. I'll be honest with you, Dave. I want to stick with Canales next year, and I want to stick with Baker next year because changing doesn't work. Changing often doesn't work. We've been through the coaching carousel thing. We've done it. It doesn't work. Um, you bring in think about it this way. We had Bruce Arians was our head coach. What was his famous phrase? How do you describe his offense? Do you remember?
No risk it, no biscuit.
Now we come in saying we want to run the ball. We want to make it more of a balanced attack. Well, we don't have the players for that. We didn't draft for that. We drafted players for a high octane, no risk it, no biscuit offense. So it takes a couple of years to develop, to get the right people in, to get run blockers in, to get the right kind of people in. And if you decide, okay, this year maybe they brought a few people in for this type of offense and they started it, and now next year you bring in someone with a totally different kind of offense. Now what have you done? Now you've got people from three different kinds of offense. You're cramming them all together, drafted for different schemes. You can't do that. You can't keep changing schemes and changing offenses and defenses. You can't keep doing it. Now imagine you bring in another offensive coordinator or you bring in a different head coach. Just say you decide you're going to blow it all up. You get rid of Bowles, you get rid of Canales, you get rid of Evans, you start with Wirfs and Winfield. Now what do you do? What do you do with everybody else? Are you going to bring in an offensive-minded guy? Okay, maybe that's an idea. All right, so you bring in an offensive-minded guy. What kind of offense is he going to run? Do you have the right players for that? And then what kind of defense? You bring in a different defensive coordinator. Well, we've been drafting people for Todd Bowles' defense, the right people for Todd Bowles' defense. Now you bring in some other defensive coordinator, and all of a sudden, what's your situation? You got the wrong guys out there. We've been through this where you draft guys for a 3-4, then you switch to a 4-3, then you go to the Tampa 2, and you got guys still from the 3-4 now mixed with 4-3, but now you're on a Tampa 2. You can't keep doing that. Hey, Christopher Cole, how you doing? You cannot keep switching. You can't change what you're doing. You can't. It's very important that you stick with a plan. And if Dave Canales, if you guys just, if they said let's get behind Dave Canales, give him a couple of years at the very least, I would say 3. And I imagine by the end of the 3rd year, you're going to have the right people there. You're going to have more experience under his belt. But these are growing pains, and it's hard to go through them. It sucks. That's why they're called pains, because it hurts. It's difficult after what we've been through.
Well, I think the problem up front is the center and the guards. Your tackles are solid, and you're not going to get much of a running game going up the middle if you've got problems in the middle of your offensive line. Like you mentioned earlier, you need to get the ball out in the flat. You need to get the running backs and get wide receiver screens out wide so you don't have to deal with the difficulties of the middle of the line.
The one thing I will say is, you know the saying, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, right?
But again, still would love to just be able to run the ball with consistency and do that. And maybe that's me just being able to call more of those runs in different situations.
More of the
No quick
runs that
fixes
don't
for where we're
work.
headed. Just a lot of the same.
More of the same that doesn't work.
Right.
As you last in the league in rushing.
This is literally him talking today.
No quick fixes for where we're headed. Just a lot of the same.
Think about
Yay,
that, guys.
I'm fired up. How about you? Yeah, they're gonna just take it to the Bills on Thursday, buddy. They're all it's yeah.
Well, there is no way to fix it by Thursday. Okay, you're not going to change centers. You're not going to change guards.
You can change plays, which he's saying he's not going to do.
Well, yeah, and you've got to kind of stick with what you've practiced all year. I mean, you kind of have to. You can't reinvent the wheel on a short week for sure. I don't know, and something that has been circulating on Twitter. I'm not sure where it came from, but I know it was played on the Aftermath last night. I think it's a great little snippet that explains well.
We did practice well. I practiced hard. Everything looked like it clicked in practice this week. We had 3 good days of practice. He had a good week of practice. He had a good couple weeks. He's practicing good. We like the way he comes to practice every day. We'll have a good practice tomorrow. He's been practicing great. He's 2 weeks in a row now, as well as some good practices as well. So he had a good week of practice. Ron practiced well last week, and I thought he's been practicing well right now, so they have a good week of practice. They always practice hard.
I'm just letting it soak in.
It's awesome. It's awesome that we are excellent at practice.
You can't beat us in practice, buddy.
Right.
We're on the bye week because then we really practice.
Yeah. I mean, that's disturbing. So the only person I like what they're saying is Baker.
We're kind of learning that we're not going to be a run first team.
I mean,
there's a brilliant football mind right there.
But he's the only one saying it. He's the only one saying it. You're making fun of him for stating the obvious. He's the only one saying it. That's what disturbs me. I mean, we can run really good against our defense in practice. Well, yeah, our defense hasn't been so good against the run. I mean, guys, I am pressing the panic button. I'm nervous. We have problems. Now, Christopher, let me just do this to calm myself down. Christopher, what'd you have for dinner tonight? Dave, what'd you have for dinner?
Well, I haven't completely eaten yet, but my wife did bacon. I had a bacon, cheese, and tomato sandwich.
Oh, very nice.
With turkey. So let's call it was a turkey club.
Okay, that's excellent. Christopher, let us know what you had for dinner. We do this because part of our show, we have a little segment that we're going to do a little bit later on called What's Cooking in the South. And it's a fun little segment where we kind of talk a little bit of food while we're talking football. We got a couple other little segments. We're going to go through one right now here that I think let's you know what? Let's do What's Cooking in the South right now. Let's get that out of the way. All right, let's do this. Although I'm looking and apparently I'm missing one of my slides. So while I start this, I'm going to be hurrying up trying to figure out what happened to it, how it got deleted or where the heck it went. You know what? I got a better idea. I got a better idea. We're going to come back to that segment. Sorry. Calling an audible. Dave.
Yeah.
Who's being a baby?
Come on, say the hip hop, the hip it to the hip hop, and you don't stop the rock it to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the.
Okay, this has become personal with me. I'll be upfront with you. There are two words in the English language, well, in isolation, are two of my favorite words. One is flag, the other is football. Flag, Old Glory, a parade, you name it. Putting my hand over my heart at a sporting event. Wonderful, wonderful thing. Wonderful visions come to mind when I think of flag. Football. This show is about football. Football's awesome. Saturdays are for college. Friday nights are for high school. Pros play on Sunday and several other days of the week. But the favorite sport, it's a wonderful thing. We all love it. That's why we love the Bucs. We love it when they win, and we love it when they lose, and we love rooting for them. But when you put flag and football together, I cringe. I get a knot in my stomach. Here's why. Guess what's coming to the 2028 Olympics that are making their way back to our shores in Los Angeles? Flag football. If you heard me rant about flag football with the Pro Bowl, this is even worse. Because when you have an Olympics on your soil, you're saying, this is who we are. This is the people we are as a country. And we're going to throw some watered down version of our favorite sport. Let me put it to you this way. There's 5 new events that are going to be in the 2028 Olympics. Listen carefully. Flag football, baseball/softball, cricket, lacrosse, and squash. Let me reread that for you. Flag football, baseball, softball, cricket, lacrosse, and squash. What do you notice about that list? Number one, it includes an insect and a vegetable. And number two, there's only one sport that's a watered down, sorry version, and that's flag football. I couldn't believe it when the NFL said we're going to do the Pro Bowl with flag football. That's about the worst decision they've ever made, and they've made plenty of them. It's a joke. You get people out there, and then you get roughing the receiver calls. Football, you hit them. That's what they do. This is going to be horrible. There's already the talk about, well, is the NFL going to pay out their salaries if they get hurt doing flag football? So then that means you aren't going to have your best players out there. This is just going to be horrible. It's just going to be horrible. It's going to be awful. I can't believe they did it in the first place with the Pro Bowl. I can't believe we're going to announce this to the world as this is our sport. No. Tackle football is our sport. This is some watered down version that belongs with cornhole before the game or the kids playing out in the street. But it's certainly not something that we sit there and go, this is what we're about. So quit being a baby. Anybody in the world who thought this was a good idea and made the decision for this to come to pass, you are a baby. Stop it. You are ruining those 2 words of the English language for me, flag and football. Quit being a baby. Stop it. Take it out. Forget it. Done.
Is that all you got?
Thank you.
Holy cow. Yeah, Dave. I don't blame you. Is that anything else baby related?
Yes, there is, Rick. Thank you for bringing that up. Sometimes it's okay to be a baby when it's related to the NFL. When Kareem Butler woke up on Sunday morning, all she thought was she was going to go watch her brother from Indianapolis, and the Browns were visiting the Colts. So Kareem Butler, she was going to the game. Unfortunately, on the way to the game, she went into labor. And the end result was at around 1:20, her baby was delivered just 20 minutes after kickoff. So this is the occasion when we want to see a baby, and this is pretty cool, quite frankly. There's
Do we
my
know what-
in-depth analysis.
know what the
Having a
baby's
baby
name?
at the stadium, that's pretty cool.
What's the baby's name? Do we have any idea?
No, we do not.
Okay, whatever you are, whoever you are, go
I
ahead.
mean, still, you want some level of
Go
privacy
ahead.
for the family, but
Yes, well, go ahead. Be a baby. It's okay for you to go ahead and be a baby.
yes. Went into labor on the way while crossing the street. So when they got to the stadium, they went straight to first aid, and 20 minutes later, boom, there's the baby on NFL stadium grounds.
Wow.
And maybe
Wow.
they haven't named the baby yet. You never know. Apparently, it
Yeah,
came-
that yeah, it wasn't expected. I understand. Not right then. Okay, let's try this again, Dave. Last week we discussed one of my favorite things, which is chicken fingers, and we got into detail on the top 3 chicken fingers. Today we're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about something else that I think we all love. That we all love the taste of, and that is ice cream. Now, ice cream to me, I will be honest with you. I don't find my whole life there've been ice cream. Sometimes you like ice cream, sometimes you don't. I mean, or as far as it's okay. I mean, you ever had bad ice cream? It's kind of like pizza. We'll get to that later. All ice cream's okay. It's all good. I never really noticed a huge difference in ice creams until recently. I ran across an ice cream that I got to tell you guys about. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a different level. It seriously takes ice cream to a different level. And I had no idea there could be this much flavor in ice cream. I had no idea it could be like this. And all you numb tongues out there should try this stuff because it's phenomenal. But there are some ice creams I think are a little better than other ice creams. I think in number 3 is Tillamook ice cream. I think Tillamook ice cream is good. You can get it, I think, in Publix and most stores. Tillamook is good. I mean, I like it. I enjoy it. It's better than Breyers. It's better than, which I noticed the other day. Breyers just says frozen dessert. It doesn't even call it ice cream anymore. So, yeah, I would say number 3, Tillamook. Number 2, something I ran across here in North Carolina. And I've looked around online. It's available in some other places. I know you can get it online. It's a really great brand of ice cream called Jenny's. And their cinnamon ice cream is great. I am a fan of Jenny's ice cream. I think it's a little better than Tillamook. It's definitely a little better than other ice creams I've had in general, but not by a lot. But then there's this other brand of ice cream. And being just honest with you, it's next level. It's amazing. I don't even have words. Now they built the whole theme around this ice cream called Cold Case Ice Cream. They built it all around the crime theme. Like the flavors are called America's Most Wanted, Assaulted Caramel. There are all kinds of cool little fun names that come along with it. But while the names are cute and catchy, the flavor. I mean, when I ate it, I was like, oh, I hope this is good because it's it's a little more expensive than a lot of other ice creams, and the only place you can get it is they ship it to you. When I tasted it, I thought, I hope it's a little bit better. And from the very first spoon that I had was like, what is this? What is this? It was amazing. Let me show you some clips from their videos.
Buried Alive, Serial Killer, Jane Doe, Lemon Pulp Fiction, or America's Most Wanted. Voted best ice cream.
It is amazing.
That is clever. Just before
Yes.
even just seeing it and just hearing their names for it, that's clever.
Yeah,
To begin with.
absolutely. So, guys, this is not a paid endorsement. This we do this every week. We give you our top 3. This week, Cold Case ice cream. From my heart, the best ice cream I've ever had. It's not close, it's different level. There's nothing like it. I'm telling you guys, take a minute, go to, I think it's coldcaseicecream.com. It's worth the extra money. It's, if you like ice cream, get this ice cream. You will thank me. It is phenomenal. All right, that's it for what's cooking in the South. Let's get back to football. Let's get
Actually,
back.
I think it's better to talk ice cream out these days.
It is. I'm more interested right now in ice cream. I'm excited. I'm more excited about this ice cream than what's about to
I'm
happen.
ready to
tomorrow
run
night.
out and get some Tillamook ice cream. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Tillamook or
Tillamook, I think.
I-
Tillamook. I don't know. I think it's in Publix, but I strongly suggest go to coldcaseicecream.com.
The only thing I can recommend is Haagen-Dazs caramel cone because after a bad day, that makes my wife happy.
And a happy wife, happy life. So yeah, I get that. That makes sense. There are other things we want to talk about. Let's talk about some things that Buccaneers fans have said. Now, every segment, every week we do a segment called, well, here.
Stupid Bucs fans say.
And I usually have 10, 15 different examples from Facebook or Twitter of some of you nimbussals saying some of your brilliance. I only have a few today, and there's a reason. And it's because I want to start this off by pleading guilty to being somebody who should be in this segment. I should be highlighting myself. I said I think the Falcons are exactly what the Bucs need. They're exactly the cure the Buccaneers need. That's definitely stupid. Okay. And I said, I think that this is just what the doctor ordered. I said, this is going to be, I think this is the game that, we need this game. This will get us back on track. All of this is a classic example. Everything I said was very classic.
Stupid Bucs fans say.
And I was going to let it slide at that. But some of you just made it impossible for me to let it go. So let's go through just a few of you. First, to Louis, I can't pronounce your name. I'll just pronounce it Louis.
Bacoviejo.
I'm more thinking I should have a lobotomy. Lewis, I should have a lobotomy. The stadium cost us that Atlanta game 100%. All the cannon fire is distracting for the players. Wow. Next, Kerry Glenn. Baker is trash. This loss is on him. Did you miss the rest of the game? Did you not see the rest of the game to make a freaking stupid comment like that? To put it on Baker? Really? Our leading rusher? You're putting it on him? Okay.
If you don't have Baker, you don't have a shot at the end.
That's exactly correct. What would Tom Brady have done? Okay, so next, let's put this.
Let himself be sacked about 12 yards back.
No, he would have gotten rid of the ball, but in 2 seconds, it just would have been incomplete. Okay, so next, Anthony Johnson. Chase Edmonds back. We should be okay. God bless the optimism. I love you. While I think
The
it is,
enthusiasm is inspiring.
while I think it is a stupid thing that a Bucks fan would say, I do love the positivity. But if you think Chase Edmonds is going to make or break this team, um, settle in, buddy. It's going to be a long year. And last but not least, let's go ahead and bring this one up. Trask doesn't look so bad now, huh?
Yeah, throw the guy in that doesn't play.
He couldn't do it earlier. It's just horrible. It's really horrible. I'm disappointed, but I can't rip you guys too hard. I can't rip you guys too hard because I was stupid myself last week.
I think we all were.
Little
overly optimistic.
Yeah. And I want to give you credit, Dave, for saying what I think I think we all need to take these words into account. I think they're the most accurate words. We just need to adjust our expectations. And I think that's absolutely correct. That was how you opened the show last week, and I think it was dead on the mark. I think it's time that we just readjust our expectations. Listen, I want to be clear about this because like I said, I've had phone conversations and I've had messages back and forth with people who are saying things about, oh my God, Dave Canales is not, he's not coming out here and taking full responsibility. Dave Canales is remaining positive. In one breath, half of you guys are ripping Dave Canales, calling him a salesperson, which I agree with. But you're calling him a salesperson and you're ripping him to shreds for staying positive. And the next breath, you're ripping Todd Bowles for not having enough positivity and energy. I mean, stop. Okay? Dave Canales is, what do you want him to say? What are you looking for him to say? I mean, the fact that, am I happy with what he's saying? No, I am not happy with.
But again, still would love to just be able to run the ball with consistency and do that. And maybe that's me just being able to call more of those runs in different situations.
I'm not happy with that. No, I'm not happy with.
No quick fixes for where we're headed. Just a lot of the same.
I'm not.
Every time you play it, it sounds worse and worse each time.
When I heard it during the press conference today, I was like, what did he just say?
But again, still would love to just be able to run the ball with consistency and do that. And maybe that's me just being able to call more of those runs in different situations.
So, I mean, yeah, that's disturbing. I'm with you. But what do you want him to say? Do you want him to say, yeah, our running backs, yeah, our line's no good. We can't run. So, no, he can't say that. He cannot say that. So what he's saying is the only thing he can say. Okay? And when they keep saying, by the way, the comment, and I want y'all to think about this. The comment, and this is something for you to really think about because this can fly right by in coach speak. When coaches, both Canales and Todd Bowles are saying, when they say, what do you think the problem is? And they say it's our execution. What they're saying is we're not playing well. We're not very good at what we're doing. And, this is not the kind of team. I mean, that's coach speak for we kind of suck at some things, but it sounds good when you say, well, the problem is our execution. We've just got to execute. If you don't execute, it's because you're not very good. Now, look, we're 6 or 7 weeks into this year. This is what we are. Okay? This is how good we are. We might improve a little. I don't expect massive change and massive improvement in this team between now and the end of the year. So this is your Bucs. This is your 2023 Bucs, guys. And when they say, yeah, we're just not executing, that's coach speak for, yeah, we're not that good at some things. We're just not that good. And when they say we've got to execute better, they're saying we got to play better. And guys, our interior of our line, when everybody's talking about Hainsey is struggling at center, and Cody Mock is struggling at guard, and Matt Filer is struggling at the other guard. It all seems very simple, but things are way more complicated than maybe most of us at first blush will understand. Um, let's say your center is trying very hard to help cover for your rookie right guard. He's trying to help him out. So all of a sudden, he's not looking as good at center. All right, because he's kind of helping your rookie guard. Well, okay, now you've got him not doing his job to his peak performance at center because he's also half trying to play guard. Maybe Cody Mock is really good, but Hainsey is struggling, and it's making Cody Mock not as good. There are complexities to this, things that we don't know as well as the coaches do. And when you hop online and pontificate on about like the answers, let me tell you something, guys. There are maybe one, maybe two of you that go back and watch the all 22 film and really watch all the plays and players game after game, play after play to know what's really happening and who's really performing well. I know this because you guys are all sitting here saying things about, why aren't we throwing to our tight ends more? Why are our tight ends, we utilize them at the beginning of the game, but not the end. Our tight ends are the worst tight ends in the NFL at blocking. Now, I want you to think about this, guys, because it's something you got to put together when you're watching the team. If we suck in the middle blocking and our tight ends are doing bad, we have two great tackles. But if the center of the line sucks and our tight ends can't seem to block, that's a problem. That's a problem because you're not really setting the edge to do anything outside because your tight ends can't block. You can't run up the middle because the middle of your line is weak. Where do you go? You know where you go? You go to a press conference afterwards and you say, well, we're not executing well. In other words,
Please, Pittsburgh. Nothing to see here, please.
This is what's that?
Just, if you're honest, just say we can't block.
Right, but you can't say that. You can't do that. I mean, as a coach, you can't do that. We can do it. You and I can do it, but the complexity,
we can't block.
The complexities of who the problem is and all of that, the coaches know much better. And it always cracks me up that people are saying, oh, it's the running back's problem. It's the running back's fault. It's guy who was pretty good last year all of a sudden can't run. Why do you suppose that is? Do you think he forgot how to run? Do you think he lost his talent during the offseason? I don't think so. I think there's something else going on. And, when we're sitting here saying we have all these free agents, we have Devin White, we have Baker Mayfield, we have Mike Evans, we have Antoine Winfield, we have Tristan Wirfs. We have all these guys who are going to be free agents, and we're like, all right, this is going to be tough. I don't know how we're going to pay for them. And then you're going, get Derrick Henry. Go get another running back. Just
should have
make
traded for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and you guys are the same idiots. You'll be the first ones who are going to be crying next year saying, oh, Jason Light needs to go. I mean, You're the ones because guys, man, we won a Super Bowl and we had to pay the price for that. Going for 2, we almost got there. We had an idiot wide receiver who had a meltdown, and that really probably cost us back to back. Okay, so we had to pay for that, and now it's time to pay. It's time to pay the bills, and that may be what happens this week, this Thursday night. And it's time to pay the bills because we had that Super Bowl, we had all that.
The
Now,
Rams are still paying for their Super Bowl win with all their dead cat money.
absolutely, and we're nowhere near as bad a shape as some of these other teams. Look at the Saints and what they're going through. So I do want to do this. Let's finish this thing out with a little bit of fun. Let's have a good time. I do want to once again thank Bucs Report for putting us on in Broad Street South, 102.9 FM radio, and Sports Talk Florida. And you can also find us on the Bucs Live Facebook and Twitter. As we do this, let's have a little fun. Every week we do something called the Meme Grinder. First one I want to bring up. The first one I want to bring up, you might think is a picture of Desmond Ritter. You might think this is a picture of Desmond Ritter, the only man who can look both 18 and 58 at the same time. This picture is not Desmond Ritter. This is a baby who I'm not sure why he looks like he's already on his third divorce. This little guy took Dave's words to heart. Don't be a baby, and he became an old man, very, very young. I don't know what's going on. He smoked his third pack today. He's in a custody dispute. I don't know what the deal is, but that's a kid who's been through some stuff.
Hey, diaper rash can wear on you, man.
Yeah. All right, now let's move on. Next, the optimist, the pessimist, the realist, the physicist, half gas, half liquid, the surrealist, it's the left half, the relativist, it's half empty and half full, the utopist, it's the top half, the skepticist, it's the bottom half, and the artist just puts a brush in it. I love this thing. It just covers everybody. Now, we had a theme of ice cream today. Let's stick with that. I've been to some different ice cream shops. I've never had that flavor. Yes, I've never had that flavor in my life, bubblegum. But anyway. Anyway. So let's move on. Chocolate lab, yellow lab, black lab, meth lab. Yeah. All right. Aliens faking the Earth landing in 1969. No, I don't hate giraffes. I'm just saying it might make sense to pull me out first. Men wrapping gifts, men using a smoker. This is so true. This is so true. Absolutely true. Okay, the moment you find out that Dolph Lundgren is exponentially more qualified to be called a scientist than Bill Nye is. Bill Nye has a bachelor's of science in mechanical engineering from Cornell. Man, Dolph Lundgren has a bachelor's in chemistry, a bachelor's in chemistry engineering. Just look. I mean, this guy is amazing. Drago is amazing. When he says, "I must break you," he knows how. Okay. When he says if he
With
dies,
science.
yes, with science. If he dies, he
I
dies.
break you with science.
With science. Okay, well, there you go. I guess Frank wasn't a flying squirrel after all. National Geographic photographer captures the rarely seen birth of a bass player. How hard is it to seduce large women? Piece of cake. It's probably my favorite of these. I really love that one. Piece of cake. That's how you seduce a large woman. Why why does this dog look like it's about to make a 30-minute rant video in its truck about participation trophies? Oh, this is awesome. As per my last email. Oh, Fast 39.
Speed never retires.
Allow your children to believe in Santa Claus. You believe in essential oils. No one's ruining the magic for you. When I was getting my prostate exam, I asked the doctor where I should put my pants. Over there beside mine was not the answer I was expecting. And last but not least, 3 conspiracy theorists walk into a bar. You can't tell me that's just a coincidence. All right. I love it. The meme grinder. A lot of fun. It's been a good time. We've had a good time today, Dave. All right. So, what have we learned today? What do we have to go over? Well, we've learned Baker is maybe the one intelligent guy left.
We're kind of learning that we're not going to be a run first team.
Well, we're learning, but the question is, are we learning? The question is, are the coaches learning?
But again, still would love to just be able to run the ball with consistency and do that. And maybe that's me just being able to call more of those runs in different situations.
Let's bring that 2.5 yard per rush average down while we're at it.
We've learned that we are excellent as a football team at practice.
We did practice well. They practiced hard. Everything looked like it clicked in practice this week. We had 3 good days of practice. He had a good week of practice. He had a good couple weeks. He's practicing good. We like the way he comes to practice every day. We'll have a good practice tomorrow. He's been practicing great. He's 2 weeks in a row now, as well as some good practices as well. So he had a good week of practice. Ron practiced well last week, and I thought he's been practicing well right now, so they have a good week of practice. They always practice hard.
All of this, when you wind it all up, the phrase that pays, when you wind everything up, it all comes down to this.
We suck today. I suck today. We suck today. It was awful.
Yeah, that's what it all comes down to. There are no quick fixes.
No quick fixes for where we're headed. Just a lot of the same.
No quick fixes for where we're headed. Just a lot of the same. So cheer up, Bucs fans!
We're going to run more.
That's what we have to look forward to. All right, we did the best part of this whole thing, guys. Remember what I told you? I'm seriously, honestly, this is not paid. I'm suggesting to you, go get coldcaseicecream.com. It's freaking amazing. It's phenomenal. It'll be the best thing you got this season. It'll be your favorite part of everything that we got out of this year. Thank you again to 102.9 FM The Game, Sports Talk Florida, and the Bucs Report for joining us here on Bucs Live. Thank you guys for being here. Dave, any last words?
It's the National Football League on any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday, or special game in London and Germany. Anyone has a chance to win. Anything can happen. So let's look up and chin up, and let's give the Bucs a chance. Let's see what they can do on Thursday.
I don't know that we have a choice, do we? Let's do it. So there's two things we can do. We basically can everybody panic, or there's I think a better option. I think there's a better option. While you press that panic button, do it with a smile on your face and say one thing consistently. Because you're a Bucs fan, the one thing you should be saying, go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs.
We sucked today. I sucked today. We sucked today. It was awful.